Welcome to the Redefining Sales podcast, where we reimagine and redefine sales in a digital world. In this new series, we have absolutely scoured the world to bring you only the best of the very best. We will be working with each of the thought leaders to unpack all of their years of experience, their pearls of wisdom and nuggets of gold into bite-sized chunks that will enable you to redefine your sales. Welcome to this episode with the incredible Chris Muddell, the ultimate sales athlete. Chris treats his approach to sales as an athlete would their training and their practice. Chris has gone from zero experience in sales and actually nervous of sales to being Employsure's #1 sales performer consistently year after year. Chris walks us through the disciplines, the habits, the rituals that he has built to become the ultimate performer. And I have to say, in the 15 years plus that I've been in sales, I have never met anyone quite like Chris. And after meeting him, I just knew that I had to unpack his process and share it with you so that you could all learn from the master himself. Get your notepad at the ready because there are so many nuggets of gold in this episode, and enjoy. Welcome, Chris Muddell, to the podcast. You have no idea how excited I am to have you here. Last night felt a little bit like Christmas Eve because I was so excited to speak to you and ask you these questions. So welcome, Chris.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for having me on. I was very excited too. We're talking about book selections until 10 o'clock, I think it was. So yes, I'm very excited too.
Comparing you to Santa is a great way to start.
Yes.
So I'm going to jump straight in because I literally want to get every single moment with you and get all your insights and knowledge and tease it out for our audience. So the first thing that I want to cover is I've been in sales for 15 years and I have genuinely never come across anyone quite like you in terms of the level of discipline, structure, routine that they have in their approach to sales and the concept that you apply around being a sales athlete. So I want to start with that foundation. Can you explain the sales athlete concept to us and then a bit about your routine and how you apply that to your day as a BDM?
Yes. Thank you. I agree with you though. You as well, a bit like me, work hard, disciplined habits, very focused on mindset and doing a very, very good, passionate contribution into the sales community of business owners and salespeople. So you know I love you and you know I've recommended your services to my clients and I couldn't speak any more highly of what you're doing for the sales profession. So first and foremost, thank you so much. Sales athlete. So just a small background. This is my first sales role. I'm a business development manager for Employsure. I've been working in sales now for 9 years. I've had quote unquote success in a whole bunch of different levels of my sales career. Sales Athlete was formed over 9 years, creating disciplined habits year after year, based on basically an absolute rocket load of adversity. So as you would know from our conversations and friendship, if you take adversity as a positive and you create solutions out of that adversity, and you do that over a period of 15 years in your case, or 9 years in my case, your foundations become rock solid, your self-confidence becomes rock solid, and the erratic nature of a sales performance or sales role or sales success, they get less and less and less over time. So it's like a big roller coaster at the start: fear, emotions, self-confidence, self-belief. Honesty for me was a big one, where you're very much held to account to what you've promised and what you say and how you deliver it. So that was a big one for me because there's nowhere to hide. In a sales role, it's you versus you technically. And if you're not doing the right thing by the customer, you're not going to have customers and you're certainly not going to last in a sales role. So for me, and it was 9 years of growth and self-realization. And I'll be completely honest, I got into sales to overcome severe mental health issues. So I had alcoholism, I had issues with motivation. I was in corporate. I felt that my soul was sucked out of my chest, and I quit for the first time. I was never a quitter, but I quit the banking institution, very well-known banks, and I literally just said, I can't do it anymore. I always had shied away from any sort of sales role, and I said, I have to get into sales. And I got into a startup called Employsure at the time as one of their first sales reps, and I was scared shitless. And if anyone says that sales isn't the most scary, confronting thing to do, I would argue that you're a liar, because you are being confronted with rejection. You're being confronted with a very negative ideology in terms of what salespeople are or are not. You absolutely are held to account with your performance, because if you're not doing it, you're not going to succeed in the sales role. And then to break the mold, which you've done, Abbie, and to get out of the KPI system, you really need to take a grip on the embodiment of sales, and that's sales athlete. My sales athlete persona is my responsibility. I own it. When I first started it, I didn't have the confidence to take ownership of this, but now it's mine. So sales, marketing, result, success, financial incentives based on that success, betterment, growth, mindset, it's mine. It's my responsibility, and I've taken full ownership of it. So the benefit of doing that is you feel that the world is your oyster. And I know that you've got books in your book library, one including The Secret. I use a verse in the Bible, but if you ask, you get. And you get messages to tell you exactly how to do it. And we've got intuition. And guess what? If you get it and it says, come work in on a Sunday all day, you got to come in and work a Sunday all day. So I've just been very much listening to those little messages over time, trying to do my best. And the year after year after year, the sales athlete persona, or maybe my alter ego, where who's somebody stronger than myself that I can call on when the shit hits the fan? Or in our case at the moment, we're in lockdown. Who is someone I can call on to give me confidence that I can still sell when the whole of Sydney's been shut down? So that's the idea behind sales athlete.
I love it. And what I think is really interesting is just watching how you put that into action. So you kindly sent me some videos with a bit of a snippet of your daily routine and actually what that means in practice in terms of being the sales athlete. So can you talk us through a little bit? What is a typical daily routine for you?
Thank you. Yes, I will. I love routine. I love getting up at the same time every day. I always have. I've always loved routine. I've never had it until sales came into my life, but my daily routine is exactly the same every single day, sometimes apart from Saturday or Sunday. I wake up at 4 o'clock. I focus on physical health. So my body, I ride my bike, I go to the gym. Then for the next hour, I focus on mental health, which is mindset, goal setting, journaling, prayer. And then the next hour, I focus on sales practice, pipeline generation, pipeline building, advancing my follow-ups and client interactions, and then client value. So what can I do today to better the lives of others, right? Whether it's clients, my family, my God, whatever it is, right? So every single day, I spend the time from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock in basically a crazy ass priming routine. So I stole Tony Robbins' routine. I don't follow him a lot, but I'll steal his wording. My priming routine is 4 hours before I even get into action. Now, what do I do during 8 o'clock a.m. and 6 p.m. at the latest? Usually I try and do it from 8 to 5. Critical closing hours. Stupid term. I made it up. That's why it sounds a bit silly. But critical closing hours is, in those 8 hours, I'm focused solely on execution. And not execution, I'm going to close someone, haha, look at me, look how good I've done. Execution of driving value into the marketplace every day. So how can I drive value into the marketplace? How can I see as many people as I can How can I have more first meetings booked? How can I engage more clients today? But I'm not prospecting in those hours. I'm not doing social media stuff during those hours. I'm not doing podcasts during those hours. I'm closing deals for those 8 hours. So I get my distractions out of the way in the morning. I get all the weird and wonderful ideas and wants and dreams I've got out of the way in the morning. I face my fear. So, you know, running hard as you do, or working out hard as I do, it's a confrontation. It's a fear. And I'm beating my fear in the morning so I don't have to worry about it later on. So I'm getting all my weird thoughts out of my brain, my weird wants, my shiny red balls rolling down the hill, my 100 excuses as to why I can't execute today. That's out of the way. So yes, it sucks that it takes me 4 hours. It really does. I wish it would take a lot less than that. But that's what I do every day from Monday to Sunday.
So so Saturdays and Sundays you are also working?
Until 8 a.m.
Okay. Okay.
And then family time.
Yep.
And trust me, I over deliver with the family too. Like, trust me, I'm just obsessed with, I'll give you an example on Saturday. So I do my little work thing from 4 to 8. And then I took my daughter out for a daddy-daughter date for about 3 hours. She got ice creams. I know it's, look, whatever. I spoil my daughter, whatever. We did nail polishing, took her to the park. I had a conversation with her about, you know, how's everything going with you? And we had the best day ever. And then we had lunch with her best friend in the park. I then came home and I said, Christian, what do you want to do? I want to go for a bike ride. Excellent. Where do you want to go? So we went out. We had a bike ride. We did all the stuff that he wanted to do for the next couple of hours. Then I had one-on-one time with my 2-year-old. And then I said to my wife, do you want to go for a date night tonight? We couldn't. But the point was, I needed that one-on-one time because we have so much one-on-one time with our clients. It's blatantly unfair to have not to have one-on-one time with kids. Now, the challenge with any sales professional that does work a few extra hours than the standard 9 to 5, it does put pressure on family arrangement. And then Sunday, my family. So what are we going to do as a family? Are we going to do ferry trips around Sydney Harbour? Are we going to do, like, literally, we get the Opal card, unlimited trips anywhere around Sydney for $2.50, and we put it in one of the kids' hands, and that's where we go. We might walk over the Harbour Bridge. We did bowling in Barangaroo before lockdown, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, just because we can do bowling in Barangaroo. So that's, so when I say work on Saturday and Sunday, I'm not working on selling people Saturday and Sunday, but the routines still are there.
And what I love about that routine, so go back to the critical closing hours that you mentioned. When I asked you to do this podcast, you said, yep, sure, but I'm not doing it in my critical closing hours. And we scheduled it for 7:30 in the morning. Now, I love that because I think that a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this at times for sure, we don't protect our time as much as we should. And we say yes to that lunch or that coffee or that podcast or whatever it is. And I absolutely had the utmost respect and the appreciation of the discipline you applied to this routine when you said, I can't do it during my critical closing hours. So that level of discipline, I believe, must be part of the factor that makes you Employsure's top performing sales rep and do what you do. Now, I want to dig into one thing. When we were chatting on Sunday, obviously Sydney had just gone into lockdown. Things were looking a bit different in Sydney, and you were saying, your diary was looking pretty empty for the week. And actually you went in on a Sunday, and by the end of the day, I think you'd completely filled your diary. And now 2 days in, you've already got business. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, around how you go from, oh no, we've just been sent to lockdown, my diary is completely empty, to, wow, I have a full diary. And not only that, I've now overcome that and I'm closing business. Yes,
I certainly will. So, everyone's got a reason as to why salespeople fail. It's maths and science. First principles thinking, physics backed. So what does that mean? Salespeople don't sell because they're living their imagination or their memory sets. So the reason they don't follow up is because they think that someone doesn't want to hear from them, or the reason they haven't closed the deal, or they haven't proceeded to do the right thing in terms of getting the client on board or giving the confidence and trust that the person's willing to engage with you, is most of us are living in our imaginations or memories as opposed to the present moment. So I just wanted to just highlight that before I gave my answer. So what the hell does that mean? Sales to me is a great game, and it's a fun game. I love games and I win games. I've been like that since a kid, right? I'm very competitive. So that's really helpful in a sales role. Now, my numbers, just to be very clear with you, how have I automated success over 9 years where I can confidently rely on exactly what income I'm getting paid, sales I'm making, and the amount of time and energy I need to put into every week or year? My disciplines are a recipe that works, and I've been testing it for 9 years. And guess what? 9 years, I've had the same average results. I'll tell you exactly what they are. So on average, I've engaged between 150 and 200 new business clients every year, and on average between $3 and $4 million of new business revenue every year. So keep that in mind. January 1, it's actually July 1 in our company, everything resets to zero. Chris Muddell, go get another $3 to $4 million. So I'm not an account manager. I'm not it's just you go back out there and go get some more amazing clients through your own resources. Great. I'm heavily supported with our company too, by the way. Employsure now got 1,000 employees, more than 29,000 clients. So I'm heavily supported with a lot more resources than I had compared to the knocking, phone calling that I had to do for my very first client. No one had any idea who we were when I first started on Employsure. So very, very different as a startup compared to a established corporate business driving very high value. So the maths every single year is 25 meetings booked in the diary, 10 will reschedule, 15 will sit. I convert 30% on average for 9 years, which means I get 5 clients a week. Over the year, that's 150 to 200 new clients. On average, our client size is $22,000 to $25,000, multiplied by the amount of clients I've got on board, which is between $3 to $4 million a year. So I've codified it to the point where top of the company, number one, year 1, 2, 3. Then I had family. And I'm like, I'm only going to work 8 hours a day, 2 hours in the morning for the kids, 2 hours in the evening with the kids. So I purposely probably had more than $100,000 dip in my income so that I could time block for my family. So everyone thought, oh, Chris Muddell's not the top anymore. He must have lost his edge. Okay. Then anyway, 5 years later, my kids have had so much of me, probably too much, that we got our dream home. Beautiful brand new home. It looks great, etc., etc. And I said to my wife and my family, are you happy if I go back in the marketplace and eat this mortgage for breakfast? Can I please? So they said yes. And I said, for me to be number one and to earn X amount of dollars, pretty much double my old income, I would need to either have the morning back or the evening back. So there'll be a morning that you're not going to see daddy or an evening that you're not going to see daddy. That's commitment. That's a huge commitment. And I'm consciously aware of every minute I'm not spending with my kids, by the way. They said, morning, you're a bit grouchy, Dad. You're sort of in two minds. We don't need you in the morning, but we love the bedtime routine, playing chess with you, homework. We love all that stuff. So if we don't see you in the mornings, and so I made a pact with my family at the start of 12 months ago to say, I'm going to get to the top, which I did. I got back to the top. I'm going to have a wildly increased income. Thankfully, working in sales, that's possible. And then I said, I'm going to share my riches with everyone, which means my partners, my managers, my family, everyone gets a share. So literally percentages of what comes in is distributed. Like it just comes in, goes, comes in, goes. It's still a sacrifice. And it's one that I don't have to make, but it's a commitment that I made. So my numbers have been the same over 9 years, where I know that if I put an additional 2 hours a day in, that's going to drive more than a 30 to 40% return on my results. That'll bring me from position number 12 out of 120 BDMs to position number 1. It's all gamified. And what do? Sunday, we're talking. So, sorry, the results last quarter. So what they correlated into last quarter is 60 new business deals, $1.2 million worth of revenue, 180 new businesses sat with. That's not including all the second meetings and 2,000 plus phone calls, whatever else I was doing. My conversion rate was 30%, and that was it. So, right, that was based on 25 meetings, 15 sat, 5 deals. So, start of this quarter, we start in lockdown. 1st of July, 2021. It's now the 7th of July. We're in lockdown for 7 days. Guess what? Guess how many meetings I've got in my diary for this week on Sunday? One meeting in my diary at the moment I woke up. So what did I do? So why do I have one meeting? Because we're in lockdown. Okay. Yes. Circumstances do actually happen, and lockdown does affect you, but it doesn't affect me because I know my disciplines and I've got a commitment. I've made a commitment. So as part of that commitment is that Sunday that I spent with my family doing ferries and all the fun stuff, I said to my family, I need to meet on my commitment because my commitment's number one. I've talked to you about my commitment. You've accepted my commitment. You've respected my commitment. And I need to let you know that I'm going and I have to wipe off the Sunday because of it. So all day Sunday, I'm filling out my diary. So between Monday and now Wednesday, 3 days, I've secured 8 new clients and 110 grand worth of revenue from having one meeting in my diary on Monday. So now I'm at the top of the week, the month, and the quarter out of nothing. So, yeah, for anyone that says that can, it's COVID, yeah, and it's we're in lockdown and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. First principles thinking, though, is, okay, great. That was a memory 3 seconds ago. So here we are. What are we going to do? And then that's what I was doing on Sunday.
So can you unpack that a little bit? Because I'm really curious around some of the tactics of going from essentially one meeting to then 3 days later, when we're now talking, that incredible outcome. And I think the question on everyone's mind right now is how? Like how did you do that? So can you unpack that a little bit for us around some of your go-to tactics?
Yes, good question. Okay, so I've got lots of tactics. The first one is to rigorously go through everyone that you've sat with, whether it's your open pipeline, your closed loss clients, whether it's your partners. I've got 117 referral partners. Anybody that you know in your Rolodex would be a good opportunity to have a meeting with that week because there's nothing else to do, right? So I'll be completely honest, Abbie, you may have been in that 25.
Yes.
I may have called you and I may, I don't believe in I prefer when people come inbound as referrals and they're in a position where they want to buy prior to going outbound. I much prefer the inbound methodology, the referral methodology, than so the pull versus push marketing. Pull versus push. I prefer marketing campaigns. Let's call them referral campaigns, right? People that know me, like me, want to use our business because they know someone that's used a business. So I much prefer this marketing approach, which is your approach, right? So basically I just contacted all the people I knew, and what I'll do is, or I would actually put them in my diary as to, I'm going to sit with you. So they don't know it yet. They don't know it because I'm not going to call them on a Sunday. So I stack my diary full of 25 people that I'm going to see. And then in my mind, I'm going to have meetings with them and they're going to sign up. So although it sounds a bit crazy, and I'm going to say that person I met 3 weeks ago, that was sort of 50-50 on the fence, I'm going to have a meeting with him at 9 o'clock and with an intention to engage him as a client. So as an example, one of those leads came from a quote that I sent 5.5 months ago via our DocuSign system. I went through the existing DocuSigns outstanding. I called them all. Do you want to come on board? We've got this great discount at the moment. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's fine. Let's do it. That's one reason. Another one, I've got pipeline. So because I sit a lot of meetings, I've got like hundreds of people in the pipeline. So I said, look, I sent a proposal. Did you want to get on board today? Yeah, that sounds good. And then it's cadence down, right? So the people that I've got agreements out for, people I've sent proposals for, people that have had an interest in the service, people that have been referred to us, people that have called on inbound marketing channels, people that have gone into closed lost, people that are seminar campaigns, different marketing routines, and then finally cold called leads, and then call Abbie. You know what I mean? Like anyone that I know that I've met with that may want to meet with me, I'll call you. But I'll be completely honest, the chance of you signing up versus the other people first is going to be lower. So it's not that I don't prioritize you. I absolutely want you to come on board as a client, but I've got the respect that you already know what I do, you know me, and if and when that's appropriate, you'll reach out.
Yep. So I love the discipline behind that, because what we actually find in our business is common sense isn't common practice. And when we're speaking to salespeople, one of the most low-hanging fruits that we typically find is that people aren't following up. Or like you said, there's the story in your head that they're just not interested. They just didn't seem to get it, or whatever it might be. And so the discipline that you have to go back through the referral partners, the prospect list, the outstanding quotes and so on, it really is that rigorous in what you're doing. And I do genuinely believe that whilst it might seem obvious, it's the exception to the rule. We really don't see it.
And I'll give you another example, if you wouldn't mind. The quarter before last, I broke a company record. So there was a certain bonus structure and I jumped right over the boundary. So usually they put this stupid ass bonus level that no one can get. I'm like, not only am I going to get it, but I'm just going to jump. I'm going to do a 6. So I had a goal to do it, but I was 8 behind basically breaking this thing the day prior to, not last quarter, but the quarter before. So on 24 hours prior to the quarter end, I sent 20 proposals with updated pricing, discounted rates before 7 a.m. to people that I'd met with. I made probably 100 calls before 12 o'clock. I did I did a combo prospecting closing campaign, never seen before. And I got 8 clients in that 24 hours on the last day of the quarter from nothing. So obviously I've met with them. They're in our pipeline. They showed interest. We left it on good terms. So I didn't hard sell them, and I'm not that guy. If anything, people are saying, oh, Chris didn't follow up well enough, or Chris didn't really push me into the decision. That's the feedback I get, more so than, whoa, I don't want to hear from that guy again. So I believe I've got a little bit of leeway to be a bit closey when I need to. Okay. Because in terms of what I've given them so far, I've given them industry-specific value. I've given them advice appropriate to their goals. I've provided a solution that they want at a pricing structure that they're not scared about. I've then clearly articulated exactly how to make sense of the price so they can make the confidence to engage our services. Then I politely ask, when would you like me to follow up? And we put that date in the diary. So I've trying to be as respectful as I can in all interactions that I have. So sometimes if I called them up and I said, look, I'm at quarter end, there's a discount for the company. It would mean the world if I could provide a better rate for you and help you with that thing we talked about a couple of months ago. In other words, I'm sort of asking a favor. And then a lot of the time it works.
I like your serve mentality. Again, the video that you sent me, you had a tracker on your wall around people that you'd served. And I love that mentality and how you've just explained it as well, around how you are always positioning around how you are helping that person achieve their goals or how you are helping them get there, and even tracking the number of people you've served. It's a brilliant mindset shift on sales, and one that I think is very refreshing.
Thank you. And in terms of that service poster, it's got a correlated action point in there. So those numbers that you saw, the 800 one-to-one meetings with prospective clients, the 100 one-to-one meetings with existing clients or partners, the one-on-one time with kids, wife, everything, that's all the one-on-one time reverse engineered for the next 12 months. In other words, I know consciously that I'm spending less than 15% of my one-on-one time with my kids. Whoa, that's huge. And less than maybe even 10% with my wife. Whoa, that's huge. So when you correlate it, reverse engineer it, put it right in front of your face, you really feel a whole lot of guilt, but you really feel that when I'm having a sales conversation, I'm not having a one-on-one with my kid or with my wife. So I'm going to give this my best. So just like we spoke about, I'm going to give it 100% to whoever I'm sitting in front of, whether it's my kids, whether it's the client, whether it's a partner. That's all I've got. I've got 100%. I say that to anyone I work with. I can give you 100%, and that's it. And but that means 100%.
And I also loved how you prepared for meetings. So many people would get a lead from inside sales and just look at a couple notes and then give them a call. You know, when you were describing to me your routine there, you will listen to the call, you will make notes, you will prepare for it, you will get everything ready. Not many people go into that level of prep work. So I love, you know, like you said, you're giving it 100%, not just in the meeting itself, but also preparing for that meeting to be a success as well.
Yeah, spot on. So in terms of that prep, when you sit 6,000 sales meetings over 9 years, you become highly intuitive with basically the same 20 questions, the same 5 objections, the same pricing issues, the same queries, the same language and narrative lines. You become highly intuitive to know exactly when and how someone's going to sign up. So I believe that I know exactly when someone's made the decision to engage a service. I know exactly when someone's made the decision to be confident with the pricing. I know exactly who will sign. So when I'm coming into a meeting, I know basically a lot about what they need, about what they want, about the solution we can deliver them, a lot of their pain points in their industry, what we may charge for the service, and I have it all set up so that when they're speaking to me, I know them so well. And I know it sounds a bit creepy maybe, but I know them so well and I care for them so well that I'm already visualizing that I'm already working with you. I'm already working. You're in my network. You came to me. Why did you come to me? If you think about that for too long, that'll send you into a loony bin. But you came to me for a reason, and I'm going to give you 100% of my being, right? And for me to be able to do that, I really love to get to know you back to front. And because there's recordings, there's a lot of data, there's a lot of Googles and different things, I will do my best to perform at the best I can. So back to the sales athlete thing, I consider these meetings as performances, sprints, races, games, shots of the basket. For me to be able to do my best, I'm going to prepare the best. And again, that's another reason why the close rate's so high. So other people, their close rates might be under 5%. Mine's over 30%. Why? Because I know more. I ideally present more value. I provide more information to assist with the buying decision. I carefully work through their emotional difficulties with buying stuff and money, psychology, and all the stuff, all the fears. And then I give them an opportunity to walk into a solution. And they walk into it, and then it's my role to have them as a client for life, to over-deliver on my promise. And again, I can't be in this role unless I've been doing that. So that bit I've always found easy. And then in terms of start to finish, in terms of preparation, in terms of scripting, honestly, it's all codified. It's all easy, very easy. So it's not, I practiced it so long. It's like Jordan with the jump shot. He could probably have the jump shot from anywhere and he's going to get it. You know what I mean? Because he's done it so many thousand times. So it's just practice and care. And when the both are there together, when you genuinely care about someone and then you genuinely, I guess, is it talented? I'm not talented. Is it? Anyway, when you practice it enough, those two things together is huge. Big help.
So I want to kind of flip that a little bit and go, okay, so it's easy for you because you've been doing it for 9 years. You have codified it. You have got it down pat and so on. For anyone listening who's thinking, yeah, but where do I start? Because I'm 9 years behind you. What's the first step? How do you get started?
Very good question. I got into sales due to mental health. Okay. So I was always scared of customer facing roles. I used to get red, scared of public speaking, very much fearful about even this podcast. There's something about me expressing myself that's always been difficult for me. So it's easy with sales because I'm listening to the other partner. I'm doing 90% listening and 10% closing, right? So this is very difficult. I'm talking about myself. And when you don't have a high opinion of yourself, it's very, very difficult. Sales may be, quote unquote, one of the most difficult things you have to do in your life. So I got into sales when I had an alcohol dependency problem. I had lots of other problems. And I wasn't waking up early. I wasn't motivated. I'd never set a goal. I hadn't read a self-help book, not one. I hated my job. I had no idea about positive psychology, nothing. I was pretty much the bottom of the barrel in terms of what I needed to do to get out of the pit. I was in a very dire situation, truthfully. So it was sort of, I've got to get something that's purpose-driven or it's just dire for me, right? So sales for me was an opportunity to face my biggest fear and face my mental health issue head on. And so I've always struggled with mental health. I still do. I still get help for my mental health. If I don't do these routines for a week, holy shit, I don't want to know what the hell's going to go on. I'm scared shitless of the bottom of the barrel. But anyway, but that's sort of good as well, where I'm getting help and it's improving day on day, et cetera, et cetera. But so sales for me was the scariest thing I've ever done. And I certainly didn't have the right assets, mindset, body set, spiritual set to get me through a sales role at the start. So the first thing, I thought about it because you asked me on the email. I made a decision to succeed in a sales role. So it was a startup. I was one of the first salespeople. I was at the bottom of the sales team. And I made a commitment to succeed in sales, right? So I'm not going to fail these because I've got nowhere else to go. I've quit corporate, quit financial planning, quit accounting. Like, what else can I quit? So I made a commitment that I'm not going to quit this. Hell or high water. So that was the first good thing I think I did. And then second one was I wrote it down. Oh yeah, the second one was to write down a goal. So I wrote down a goal, and my goal was just to succeed in sales and to face my mental health issues head on, right? That was sort of the two main things I needed for survival, for lack of a better word. Anyway, I won't go to the notes. So what happened from there? I had no self-belief, no self-confidence. I basically hated myself, I'll be honest. Depressed, alcoholic, the whole jazz, good fun. I was married at the time, and we had news that our first baby was coming along. So that in itself, how the hell am I going to have a kid that can respect his father? So there was so many things in the background that I should have been doing a long time ago, but this was it. This was my last at-bat chance of survival. So made a decision, committed to be successful in sales. And then what happened after I made that commitment was something really strange. Self-belief I've never had. And there's two gentlemen, one named David Price, another one named Peter Doan, who worked at the business. They still do work at the business that I work for. They identified me out of the people working the company, and they both said, I believe in you. Not only do I believe in you, but I believe you're number one. I've never, ever, ever had anyone say that in my life. And this is when I was 30, maybe a bit older. Not once. So I said, you know what? I can't believe myself, but I can believe you. So I'm just going to do that. So I then, from that point forward, I gave up the drink. I started reading books. Think and Grow Rich was the first book I read, like a self-help book I read. I'm sure I didn't read stuff during high school. Then I committed to fixing the mindset, which I started off by just listening to one motivational video every night and every morning to help me wake up earlier than just whenever, just to help me wake up. And this was for 7 o'clock. So that was really, really hard to create my first discipline, which is waking up in the morning, right? So I woke up in the morning at a regular time, which was 7. I then committed. So then my mindset started to improve a little bit, but then my body wouldn't take me there. So the alcohol, the lethargicness, the hyper negativity, the negative self-talk was still there. So my mind is starting to move, but my body's not taking me. And then I'm like, I've got to go to the gym. First time I've gone to a gym. I go to the gym, I give up on the gym. Now I need to get a personal trainer. So I go to the gym. I get a personal trainer, now I'm going to the gym. And what I committed to with the gym is I'm going to go every day, even if I don't work out. So every day in the morning, I go to the gym, even if I walk in and walked out. The amount of times that I walked in and walked out is astronomical. Like seriously, it was probably 30 or 40 times in the first quarter. I literally went in and walked out. You'd think I'm completely nuts. I made a commitment, and the mindset thing worked where I woke up earlier. And then the second one was I'm going to go to the gym. Then the second one worked as well. And so step by step, then mentors came into my life. So Ed Mallett, Nick Babington came into my life. They helped a lot of, I guess like fatherly figures. They gave me a lot of self-confidence. And then I'm like, I need to model the best. But in my company, there wasn't anyone that's the best. So I went to a gentleman named Darren Chadwick, who also worked in our global company, and he was considered to be the best in our company. And then I modeled exactly what Darren did. He used paper contracts. He did 5-year agreements only. He did. Again, I didn't have self-confidence in myself, so I said, I'm just going to copy Darren. And then all of a sudden, my results trebled 300% of what was expected from me. And then basically the rest is history. So that's how I got to number 1 in sales. That's how I became BDM of the year for the first go. That's how I started. And in terms of the marketing that we had available at the start, my first client came from a welcome lunch at a pub down the road called the Glasgow Arms Hotel in Pyrmont. And I spoke to the daughter of the owner, Rebecca Ginty, and I said, here's what I do. What do you think? She introduced me to her father, and Richard engaged the service on one of his pubs. He loved it. And we've had him as a client ever since, until he sold out of the businesses. So my first client was basically a door knock. I then had his business and 2 of his other pubs sign up. And then he whilst he was in business, they used the Employsure service for the next 6 years. And it's only been recently that they sold out. But this is an example where nobody knew who we were. We had a pamphlet. We didn't have all the amazing digital assets. We had no marketing like campaigns. We had a few people making calls. So at the start, startup, SME, no sales experience, not motivated at all, have got no idea. But what I did have is a commitment and my word and no hope. There was nothing underneath. I had no hope. I was desperate to survive. So in hindsight, I was actually very fortunate that I was in that situation. But for salespeople now in the same situation, I would highly recommend to get your mental health and wellness in check first. Mindset, goal setting, professional help, counselors. I would argue that a sales role where you build a beautiful garden for a quarter, amazing, beautiful, you're on top of the company, trample. Now let's start again. Beautiful garden, up it goes, trample. And then when you're not at the top, I've been at the top and then not at the top when I made those time blocking for my family. The amount of people that said Chris Muddell's lost it. He doesn't know how to sell. He's scared. Little did they know that I've made a conscious decision. So the challenge for young reps out there is it is mentally tough. It is scary. It's emotionally a whirlwind. And I would argue that being in an environment where you loved one day, not acknowledge the next, and that's just sales. I hate to say it. There's no blame attached to that. That's just sales. That does have an impact on your mental health. That's why I continually focus on my mindset, my health, and also I reach out. I reach out to professionals every single week. I'm talking to a professional. So I'm a huge advocate of positive psychology. I'm a huge advocate of yeah. And so are you, obviously, being qualified in positive psychology recently. But I'm a huge advocate of it, so much so that the company offers this to our teams. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Because I think it's a natural thing, whether you've got mental issues or not. I think whether new family, coronavirus, shutdown, stand down, work from home, gym routine changed, the flower garden, no matter what it is, it's emotionally, you certainly need support, I believe. And that's why a lot of salespeople fail, because they're not taking care of themselves mentally. They don't have the right disciplines in place. They're not using first principles thinking. So I know why someone hasn't closed the deal, because they've got 10 ideas as to why they didn't close the deal. And I said, well, what did the client want? And then I said, what did the client say about your wants? And did the client actually say that to you? Yes or no? Did the client actually say that the price was expensive? No. So 99% of reasons why people don't sell is because 99% of stuff that they have in their minds is their imagination or the past or the memories, right? And if there's two columns, what the BDM wants versus what the client wants, and they'll come for coaching, and they'll say, why didn't I close this deal? I said, what did the client want? Oh, they wanted policies and procedures. Oh, okay. Did they say that? No. What else do they want? Oh, they wanted peace of mind. Okay. Did they say that? No. They wanted the Employsure service. Did they say that? No. Oh, so what? But what do they want? No fucking idea. No idea what they want. So the fact of the matter is, the reason that they're not signing up with you, because first, you haven't delivered what they want, what they need, any value. You haven't produced any value whatsoever. And you haven't been able to match the value of them signing up for a paid service to the solution that they need for the future. And the reason that you're not going to follow up, because you subconsciously may know that. You know, there might be some weird Freudian shit underneath the surface that the reason you don't want to follow up is because you are lying to yourself about why this person hasn't signed up. So if you get away 90% of your disease thinking, there's a good chance that you'll get more sales. And by the way, I'm in that category too. Everyone is, right? Everyone is. But the point is, it's very, very easy for me to understand why someone hasn't signed up, because if you're giving more value and you're addressing needs specific to your buyer, and the buyer sees the correlated value compared to the pricing where it's a bit of a no-brainer, there's no problems. We're working with each other. And unfortunately, due to our thinking and incorrect thinking, whether it's from childhood, whether it's from the media, whether it's from bad salespeople as coaches, our thinking stinks. So I know that. So because I know that, it helps me and it helps the people I speak to get through it.
And I love, you earlier on talked about the fact that actually you spend 90% of your time listening. And that was really interesting, because going back to your point there, you're only going to know, did they say that? And what did they say? What did they want? What did they want? If you are doing that 90% listening, which actually for a lot of us, and I include myself in this, can sometimes be really hard when you just flip into talking mode. So I think that's also something that you seem to have really honed down. Now, I want to change tact a second with you, because I can't let you go without going back to when you were talking about marketing and you were referencing smarketing. What are some of your approaches to collaborating with marketing, and some of your perspectives around what BDMs can be doing to be working better with marketing?
So the reason why I love you, Abbie, and your amazing services for small businesses is because you've successfully combined marketing and sales together. Because guess what? It's the same thing, right? Marketing and sales together, working in conjunction with each other, is the solution that all companies need. So obviously, if I'm leaning on a side, I'm leaning towards the sales side at the bottom of the funnel, which is closing deals. Because that's where I like to live. I love dunking basketballs in hoops and scoring goals, and so that's where I like to play the most. But guess what? For me to get the 25 meetings in the diary, I need marketing. So at the start of my marketing or marketing campaigns, there was no like dedicated, strong marketing initiatives in the company because we're a startup, obviously, right? No fault, we're a startup. So we didn't have teams and resources and campaigns and funnels set up. So we were starting to establish them, or the company was starting to establish them, but we didn't have them. So it was cold calls, door knocking, and courage. That's what it was. That's what it was for me at the start. But as the years have gone on, and as we've gone from 15 employees to now 1,000 employees, guess what? We've got funnels, campaigns, marketing teams, seminar events, lead lists, prospecting data. So what a lot of salespeople don't do is they don't integrate marketing with sales. So basically, if anyone was doing what I did on Sunday, they would probably pick up the phone and make 100 cold calls, which may result in 3 really hardcore business meetings. Like, in other words, come on, let's be honest. I love cold calling, but not everyone does, okay? So, but what's the stats? 3 meetings, 2 will sit. If lucky, you'll get 1 client. But again, that's push. I'm not a pusher. I'll wait 2.5 years. So Abbie, you might call me in 4 years and say, I'm ready to go. And I'd rather that than me calling you saying, let's meet, let me push you. So what I did instead on Sunday is I engaged all of my marketing assets. They're not mine, by the way, they're the company's. But we've got a marketing team. We've got a seminars team. We've got a seminar list. We've got seminar attendees. We've got DocuSign documents, proposal documents. All of these in my mind are marketing and digital assets that I can use to fill my diary instantaneously. Why would I do it myself? How stupid. If I've got the assets and resources within the company to be able to use that to self-source a lot more cleverly, why wouldn't I do it? So I engage with people or teams with the assets I need, and I always go to the marketing first, every single time. So, and as I said, that cadence of who I would prioritize and where, am I doing referral marketing? Am I doing funnel marketing? Am I doing cold call campaign marketing? And it's just conversion rate. So a lot of people, the reason why I recommend you to people, because people get the leads and then can't close the leads, and you can do both. Or people can close the leads or they can't do the marketing to get the leads. And if no one's putting strategies to integrate the both, as I know you are, you're losing revenue. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just an optimization of best practice. So I absolutely live and breathe the approach that you're delivering. And that's why I like recommending you, because you can't have one without the other. Like, I can't just go in there because I'm too hardcore. Like, if people, I recommended you someone recently that wanted advice on closing, but it's irrelevant without marketing. So that's why it was more appropriate to recommend you, because you do marketing and closing the deal together. So because I only had the one asset, it didn't make sense to then have me coaching and then another team, doing marketing campaigns that, honestly, how many of your competitors are doing these solutions for people and there's absolute no ROI or value in their investments? Like 90% of people that are trying to assist business in a similar way to Sales Redefined are not anywhere near delivery. The hardest bit is getting someone that will actually do what they're going to say. And you do that, I do that. But honestly, that's the reason I've got like 5 to 10 mentors, which you're one of them. Because no one does it. No one does it. No one commits to what they say and they're willing to do it to the best of their ability. And you do. And I know less than 10 people in my entire network.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And context as to why I asked that question was when Chris gave me the videos of his routine. It was fascinating because Chris had a book on his desk that I spotted and knew I had to ask a question on, because it was a marketing, as in a written notebook. And it was all about marketing and how he was going to integrate with marketing, how he was going to work with marketing. And it's the first BDM I've ever come across that on his desk, amongst all the different priorities and to-do lists and so on, had a specific dedicated marketing list. So I had to ask that.
It's a daily dedicated diary towards marketing campaigns. In other words, because you forget, right? You go into bad habits and you think, oh, just pick up that phone and do another 100 dials. No, no, no. Let's automate it through marketing campaigns. So that's a daily diary where, what am I going to do today? How can I improve the marketing campaign? What EDM can I send out myself, or can the company do for me? So it's clever. It saves time. You can't stack 25 meetings in a diary on a Sunday without marketing. It's impossible. Or maybe it's not, but I've got no idea how to do it without you. So
your marketing team must absolutely love you. Chris, thank you so much. I have loved having you on the podcast. You are so open and refreshingly honest and raw, and you shared with us many personal stories, which I truly appreciate. I don't think there's enough of that in the profession around actually sometimes how hard it is, some of the challenges with it. I think sometimes people just make it look easy. So I genuinely appreciate that you have given us a real behind the scenes. So thank you so much. Where can people contact you if they want to reach out to you?
LinkedIn, Chris Muddell on LinkedIn. I've got some of the content within the page itself, and information about the daily routine from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, if anyone sort of wants to know exactly what I'm doing during those hours. And yeah, I just invite anyone that wants to connect, reach out, please do. It'd be really great to form a partnership with you. And I've got 25 meetings to stack. I'm only joking.
Chris, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on.
You too. Thank you so much, Abbie.